Hello! So in this video I will show you how to make vanilla crescents. So if you hear the name of this cookie, automatically you would say Christmas time. But I know that it isn't a Christmas time. I'm actually making it already in April. But it's a cookie that you can make all year round, to be honest. And it's typical for Christmas, but as it is really nice, I think that you can even make it in a deep July, for example. So I'm already here. I have the loaf, which is actually like this little loaf. It's the dough that I already prepared. And why I prepare it in advance? Because it's better to keep it in a fridge for at least overnight, or they said at least 1 hour, but if you keep it in a fridge overnight, it's even better. And this is 200 grams of all-purpose flour or plain flour. For Czech viewers, it's the hladká flour. Then it's the 110 grams of butter and also unsalted one. And then you will add 20 grams of sugar and 40 grams of grated walnuts and 1 egg yolk. You will make a dough, mix it like all these ingredients together. Firstly the dry ones, then you will add the egg and butter, and then basically create this type of, I would say, like a loaf. And you will keep it in a fridge for at least 20 minutes minimum, 1 hour, good, overnight, perfect. So I have it like this. And then basically for the decoration, what you will need, you will just need to get this is the powdered sugar, and also I add there a bit of the it's the brown sugar as well in it, and the brown sugar has a bit of vanilla flavor. But originally you will use the powdered sugar only, and usually the powdered sugar has a little bit of the, for example, if you have vanilla bean, you can add it into sugar, or usually, because it's called Vanilla Crescents, usually it goes with vanilla. But for example, once I didn't have the vanilla one, so I had the one with rum flavor. It was actually very good. And the last time I made it with cinnamon, and it was good as well. And then what you will need is also, you will need to get this baking sheet, which has a parchment paper. And then for baking, it's about, I would say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you will bake it on 170 degrees in a preheated oven. And 170 degrees is about 336 Fahrenheit. So if what you will do, firstly, we are going to create these, it's called Vanilla Crescents, like my finger, Vanilla Crescents on the rolls, because it's supposed to look like a half moon. Also, there is a kind of theory about it, why this cookie is called like that. But it's a classic Czech cookie, and with some, I would say, heritage from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But let's do it. So I dusted my working space actually with some flour, and then what you will do, that I will cut this loaf in half, and then we will kind of, oh, that was a sound, we will quarter them like this. Yeah, it's still, you can hear the dough, it's still, it was in a fridge overnight, so that's why it's still kind of like stiff. And those ones you will add, a little bit somewhere else, because you will need them later. For example, if you place them somewhere else, it's better if you place them, for example, you can add them back to the fridge. I will do it, so I will add them back to the fridge. And then you will start to work with this one. So what we will do, we will kind of flatten it like by your hand, and because you touch it, so basically you have a warm hand, so you kind of like warm it up. And then our goal is to make something which is called a cylinder, something like a roll. So something which would be like that will be easy how to cut off those pieces that later we will create as those crescents. So that's why we dust the working space with the flour a little bit, because it's easier how to work with it. So even with your hands, because the goal is making it in this like oval, like the shape like a cylinder, they call it, like a cigar. It also look like, and like this, you can see it, something like this. So rolling it on those both sides, that you will feel that basically on both sides is still the same. One part isn't thicker than the other or thinner, keeping it in the same shape like this. Yeah, and you can see it's already keeping the shape that we will need as a cylinder, as we call it. Like this. I think this one will be perfect. And now with the knife we'll be cutting it into these, I would say 3 centimeters, 1 inch large pieces, and then you will grab it in your hand, and now hiding it in the hand, and then you will be rolling it out into the shape which would look like the little roll, like this. Isn't it nice? So like this, and you will add those on your baking sheet, so continuing literally like this. So in this case, if you have somebody who can help you with, it's actually kind of nice, I would say, nice things to do actually, that you have, for example, with the kids then also they can help you with it, and you will be continuing making those vanilla rolls, vanilla crescents like this, and then adding it on this parchment paper. So the first batch of our vanilla rolls are ready to get to the oven, so you can see how they look like. Basically, I try to keep them in the same size, so it's not that one will be significantly bigger than the other, because as you cut off those basically small pieces and then you roll them in your hand, then you manage to create those rolls to be at least the same size, but on the other hand doesn't have to be that precisely. Each of these roll has to be precisely the same, so we are a little bit also like relaxed, so like this. So if I have it on this baking sheet ready to get to the oven, preheat one, I will keep it in the oven for about 10 minutes, 170 Celsius, 336 Fahrenheit. And how I recognize that they will be ready, they will get slightly nice pinky color on top, and that will be the sign that we need to get them out of the oven and coat them in sugar. So our vanilla rolls are nicely baked, so you can see it, they got these slightly like pinky color. So I baked them for about 11-12 minutes, and this is, and also when you start actually to coat them with the sugar, it's better to wait for about 2-3 minutes, because you don't want to work with something which is freshly baked, because it will be too hot. So basically you will just place them somewhere like I have here, like close to the oven, but actually like on a table I have here, and then when they are still warm, you will coat them in the mixture of sugar with vanilla flavor or with cinnamon, but originally it's with vanilla flavor. So you basically pick up the roll. You can also see from the other side it's nicely baked, and when it is still warm, you will close it, because the strategy what we will need to do is that you will soak all this mixture of sugar and vanilla into the roll. So we can even help with the fingers like this. I wish that you can also I could transfer the beautiful smell. It smells like Christmas. And then like place them aside. For example, like I have here this, and then you can continue. So it's another thing that you can do with your kids, or like with your friend. And like this. So just it's a wonderful smell. But literally, the goal of this is that obviously when they are still warm, you can easily get all these ingredients in, and so that's why it's better if you have those freshly baked, then keep them aside for about 2-3 minutes, and then when they are still warm, soak them, actually coat them in the sugar. That's what I'm doing. Like this. So this is our wonderful, delicious vanilla rolls.